Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. Today, we're talking about bro marketing. And for those that don't know what bro marketing is, we cover in this episode, but it's this get rich quick, like highly aggressive marketing that so many people are no longer aligned with. You, as a business owner, really hate the way this makes you feel. And ultimately, the customers you get on the other side of this, well, they're not your best customers. You pair all of that with the pandemic, with some bad actors coming online, and the trust for those online customers really, really eroding. And so your audience is savvier than ever. Sales funnels that used to work 5 years ago, they don't work as great anymore. We've all become expert buyers, and those bro marketing tactics with fake scarcity and pressure sales, they're really wearing thin and not working as well as they could. And today's guest is here to talk about exactly what is working now. And spoiler alert, it's not another new hack or trends. It's getting back to basics and making those work. So if you're trying to grow in visibility, bring in more leads, and close clients without selling your soul, this episode is for you. So let's hop in to this interview with Miss Leslie Hassler. But before we get to that, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by my agency, the BAM Agency, where my team and I help business owners just like you turn social media into a sales machine. If you're ready for a custom strategy that actually drives results, you can book a free session by heading over to lindseya.com/apply. Let's hop into my interview with Miss Leslie Hassler.
Are you ready for next level growth in your business? Welcome to the Lindsey Anderson Show, where we pull back the curtain on the exact strategies, tools, and mindsets that build million-dollar empires. If you're hungry for more time, more freedom, and a whole lot more impact, you've come to the right place. Buckle up, because we're about to ignite your business journey. Now, here's Lindsey.
This episode is brought to you by the BAM Agency. Done for you social media that actually drives results. Not just likes, but high ticket sales. If you're ready to turn your content into a client generating machine, grab a free strategy session call by heading over to lindseya.com/apply. My guest today is Leslie Hassler, an author, speaker, and strategic business advisor who helps service-based business owners grow with predictable profit and less overwhelm. She's the founder of Your Biz Rules, a fractional C-suite firm that supports and scaling businesses with hands-on strategy and leadership. Her new book, Scaling Rich, is all about growing without burning out and ditching the bro marketing for something that actually works. That's exactly what she's going to talk to us today. Leslie, welcome to the show. So happy to have you on.
Howdy, it's so exciting to be here. We're going to have a great time.
We really are. Let's have this bro marketing thing. I know in the green room we've talked about it. It's like a thing. First of all, how did you get involved in the work that you do today?
Wow. So Your Biz Rules is about 11 years old. It came as an outcropping, a transition from my first business into something better. So I like to tell people my first business was my prison. My second business is my playground. And that's really what Your Business Rules has become. And I really was brought into it. And the reason I continue to do what we do is because we're so committed to seeing other businesses succeed. There's just not enough help for those entrepreneurs who've been in business maybe 3-5 years. Then you're starting to come up with problems that Google can't answer for you. And we're just here to help guide and provide a path that actually, like you said, gives you some more profits, gives you a better quality of life, gives you some growth and scalability, and something that you can sustain and love.
I love it. I love it. Well, today we're talking about bro marketing specifically. So when I say the term bro marketing, for those listeners who maybe don't understand what that term is, how do you define it?
So I really think the term bro marketing, and it's not something I came up with.
No, it's out there. It's out there.
It's out there, right? It's out there for sure. But it talks about the marketing that has a decidedly almost aggressive kind of approach. It typically puts the person at a personal brand on a pedestal. Look at all the things I've accomplished and look at what you have not. So that have and have not discussion is wickedly there. In fact, most of the marketing language is about almost making the consumer feel smaller. So if you feel so small, you have to get the answer from the person up high. And listen, it works for some people. If it didn't make people money, they wouldn't do it at the end of the day. I just think it's out of alignment for a lot of our clients and for our own business. And I just want to open this up because I've been in marketing, oh golly, 25, 30 years. I mean, you and I probably put together could hold all the marketing knowledge.
Bro, that's right.
We've seen a lot of different evolutions, but at the end, I think people are getting tired. They're getting bruised by that highly aggressive, well, I don't have the money to pay for this. Well, if your child was suddenly wrought with cancer and you had to pay the medical bills, you'd find the way. That's that bro marketing. It uses scarcity, it uses scare and fear to move you into a decision. And a lot of times I've just not seen it work so much for the people that ultimately succumb to it.
Yeah, and there's two sides of that, right? The marketing itself now, since the pandemic, and there was a bunch of bad actors that came online, and now intimacy and AI, like all of that is making it way less effective. But also on the flip side, and tell me what you think about this, is when you acquire customers through that kind of like mental gymnastics and psychology when they're feeling in the heat of the moment, but then you have to serve them when they're no longer in the heat of the moment. They don't really end up being your best customers where you can do your best work anyway.
Yeah. So you're talking about the valley of despair, and I don't know if you've ever heard.
Tell us. I know all about it, but tell the
You know all
listeners.
about the valley of despair, right? So imagine if there's a plateau, there's this valley point, there's the slowest point possible, then there's the slope up and out. This is really where scarcity marketing is talking about, is putting people down in the bottom of the valley. I agree with you. When our experience is if our clients at that bottom of the valley, honestly, we have a 50-50 success rate, because what we don't have when it's that bad is time. And it took you time to get there. It's going to take time to get out of there. And so time is our enemy in that, and how many choices and movement. Usually money's not high. Money's not fruitful in that area. So you're limited in choices. So you're going to pay in time, you're going to pay in money at the end of the day. And so that being down at that bottom of the barrel, if you will, does tend to put people into a position where they aren't their best. They either are not able to make decisions clearly, they're not able to show up, they're not able to participate, or they just may be flat out of choices. It could be that we have the best solution and it works for everyone, but it won't work for you because at the end of the day, you have no more time and you have no more money. And so I don't know, that's a really hard place to be. And we have had clients there, and we're fully transparent about where people are and what we're going to have to do to try to rectify it. Because we're, like I said at the beginning, we're always here to help people succeed. And if you recognize that you're ready to succeed more, then why not? We're going to give it a go. But the bro marketing does tend to get you down here. So obviously, and this goes into what I would consider pretty marketing 101, right? It's somebody has to have a problem and your solution solves that problem. So on some level, they're on the downslope, because if everything's good, then they don't see a problem. Chances are they'll buy your solution. So they need to be on the slope of noticing that there's a problem. And very rarely do they notice it in the first 25% of the problem. Usually it's in that middle, maybe 30 to 70% of the problem. But if they're down to that 95 or 100%, it's a different situation. So yeah, we want to make sure that our marketing is calling in a lot of ways to the best version of somebody, that's calling them forward, not putting them down, and finds them when they still have hope. Because if they're at the bottom of the barrel, and I'm using my hands to do a lot of visualizations if you're just listening to this, but if you're at the bottom of the barrel, hope is hard. And I like to say that we can do a lot for people, but I can be 100% with you. I just can't be 100% for you. There's nothing I can do for our clients to do it for them, but I can be with them every step of the way. And I need hope and I need belief in order to make what happens next possible.
So, can you just dive into that a little more? Tell me what it
Yeah.
looks like. What are the clients saying in their heads when they don't have hope?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that won't work. It's never worked. No, nobody wants to show up and do the work. Nobody wants to pay. Like the nobody, never, ever, that kind of language is predominant. And let me just even give you an example. And this is an example we talk about actually in our first book, where we had a client come in and a marketing issue. Their marketing message was off. Conversion wasn't happening. So we worked the problem, started at the beginning, put things into place. And then we sent them out. We're like, okay, go. So suddenly leads turned on. In fact, I think I don't know, multiplied the leads by 10 times. Good leads coming in, but no conversion. Great. Let's look at the sales conversation. Let's look at the questions. Let's see how you're delivering things. How are you supporting the sales decision? And honestly, it was a lot of like, okay, well, that works. Okay, that could be better, but it's not bad. It's like tick, tick, tick. But then in the conversations in between, nobody understands what I do. No, people don't pay for my work. Nobody da 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 da. Yes, that internal talk, which just sabotages all your marketing and sales in a way that
Just because you won't show up and do the work, and there is so much work to be done, and the energy you're putting around it, and how you're showing up, and it all matters.
it all matters because at the end of the day, people buy from people.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking that we're Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Tesla, Mercedes-Benz, big brands where people are buying a brand, right? But still, if you look at who represents those brands, the people, you're buying the aspiration of what that people represents. So people buy from people. And if you don't believe in your product, in your price, or in your transformation, nobody else will.
Yeah. Oh, amen to that. That was good. That was real good, Leslie. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I had a client recently say to me, Lindsey, I've never had leads come to me like this before. That's the difference between posting randomly and using a real strategy. At the BAM agency, we turn content into conversations and those conversations into clients. If you want a social media system that actually works, apply for a free social media strategy session call by heading over to lindseya.com/apply. My question now is, there's so many business owners who think that they're doing everything right, but they're still not seeing like these kind of results. What do you say to them?
Well, when it comes to marketing and really business, everything works and nothing works. It's the truth of the matter. You can have two different business owners doing the exact same thing. One's going to work for one and just totally flatline for the other, which honestly is the reason why you probably shouldn't follow the next shiny object. What's underlying things is likely alignment. So it's alignment with who you are, who your clients are, how you like to do business, what's the quality of life that you want. All of these things really will determine your success. And one of our very, very, very early clients had this exact same issue going on. They had a decent six-figure business. They're doing well. They wanted more. They invested, got some education. The education was good. I'm not even going to knock that. The education was good. However, the education and what was being prescribed was so far out of alignment with the personal values of the owner that her business went from six figures to nearly zero in trying to implement it. And what we did was come in and we're like, okay, first off, you got to stay true to you. You have a North Star, you have a guiding light. We need to know what that is. And then we need to bring the business into alignment with this. And if it doesn't feel good, then maybe we should find what does. Because you'll be more successful with what feels good than what doesn't. Because again, we go back to the whole how you talk to yourself. If you have so many competing commitments that you can't align to find a solution, it's going to tear things apart. And that's the same thing here. Why you can have two people do the same thing and have completely different results, because everything works and nothing works. It's just about finding out what works
for you and is in alignment. Yes, yes. So, bro marketing, we talk about it's a little bit of a fad. People are expecting more. We have expert buyers on our hands, prospects more. They're warming all up to this. But, and I know we agree on this. That's why you're on the show. It always comes back to fundamentals that never stop working, the basics. So you touched on these, but can you outline the basics for us?
So the basics is really about understanding your value proposition. And the reason that people run into a problem with the value proposition, and I'll tell you what that is initially your business success is leveraged on your network. People who already know, love, and trust you, and they're willing to take a risk. They may not even understand what you're doing in business, but they're willing to support. And that gives a good bolus. But eventually you run out of that network if you're not consistently building in the next group of people to get to know, love, and trust. So at some point in time, it has to start being a little bit more than you like Leslie and you want to buy from Leslie. Now you need to understand what the heck Leslie does for you and why it's worth something. That is the reason you need a value proposition. So I do think you can get by without it for a while in business, but eventually you're going to need it if you want to continue to grow and scale. That value proposition basically says, here's what I'm going to do for you, and here's the value exchange that we're going to have. My value that I will provide to my client is the transformation. So you heard it in our introduction. I'm going to make you money. I'm going to improve quality of life, and I'm going to give you a business that can grow and scale. That's the transformation. In exchange, I have a fee. I get paid to deliver this value. Now, in order for that value proposition to work, I need to understand the marketing message. I need to understand the problems my clients are trying to solve, what the pain of that problem is, what the promise of my work is, and the benefits that come to it. So there's all of these elements that make up a good marketing message. But to be the case study in the room, you heard me say it earlier when I said a lot of our clients find that they have problems that Google can no longer solve because we have pretty self-reliant clients, they're highly independent clients. They have tried solutions in the past, but haven't found the answer. That's because they can't pinpoint what the problem is anymore. It's too complex. That's why Google can't answer the questions. But I know Sunday night at 10 p.m.,
Yeah.
why we have, 500 articles, why we've written 2 different kinds of books. So it's that understanding of your marketing message and of your clients, the problems that they're having, what they're doing on Sunday night at 10 p.m., what moves them into decision. That drives everything you do and how your sales process is designed and what that experience is like. Those are foundational elements that most people actually never build because they're just good at doing the work, and that can sustain.
Yeah, and we see it on our side too. You see that all the time. And what I want to circle back on that really highlights this is when you were like, it's complicated. There's a lot of missing pieces. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to building a good, solid marketing and sales funnel, like they think, oh, I'll just throw it out there. But it is crazy. Even 20 years in this, it is so nuanced. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. And we have a client that was talking about Google Ads, and they're like, do you have a training? And I'm like, yeah, it sounds really simple, doesn't it?
Go put the money in, cross your finger, and yeah.
Just find somebody that can take care of that for you, because you're going to waste so much time and money trying to learn when you could actually get it moving with some expertise. And like you said, that's the balance of it, is until you are on the other side and you've spent 20 years doing the work that you do, you can't even imagine how complex it actually is. And I think one of the analogies we will take is, imagine you're driving a Fiat at the moment. You want to be driving a Maserati. Well, I can't cut apart the car because the car is your business and it needs to make money in the meantime. So I have to carefully take a piece apart, but
I love that analogy.
right? Like I have to do this with scalpel precision in a way that keeps the car running and keeps the gas tank full of gas so that eventually you get the Maserati. Now, that may take a little bit of time, but you'll actually have a better, stronger business because of it.
And you'll like keep running while it's going. It's like this iterative approach, being patient. You'll find the answers, but it does take time, analysis, step by step.
You're going to pay in time or money. At the end of the day, you paid money. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's time.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your big message for business owners who are feeling this and really are resonating with your message? What is their first step?
So I would say, I think both the Scaling Rich book and First This and That are good places to start because it just helps you understand the landscape. If you're going to play the game, you at least need to know the rules, right? So both of these books do a great job at doing that. And then it's about systematically understanding where you're growing to. For a lot of people who have been in business for a while, you've lost a little bit of a vision of what's possible. Now you've gotten into, instead of being maybe Disneyland, everything's wonderful and glorious, to I'm just trying to be a realist and pay the bills. We need to get you back into a dream state, because honestly, you are in a state, our economy, our social, every bit of it is enabling you to grow more profitably and grow quicker than has ever been possible. And so if we can be a part of that journey, we'd love to, but start with finding the ways. Just like we said, hey, bro marketing, we're had its lifespan. It works for some. If it's not working for you, there is a better way. So be brave enough. If you want a different enough result, be brave enough to try a different enough approach. Because 1 or 2% difference probably not going to get you where you want to go.
It's true. It's true. So let's talk about the elephant in the room there, Leslie. Okay.
Oh, okay.
AI. Where are you utilizing AI in marketing and sales?
Everywhere.
Yeah, amen.
It's a big elephant. Big elephant. And we are fully transparent with it. But it has revolutionized our team. And I've got a team of 8. There is no one on my team that doesn't use it. Now, listen, we've invested a lot into process, into documentation. We have rule. We say what you can and what you cannot use in AI. Like, we don't really share financials in AI because that's a highly confidential piece of information. But because we work across the entirety of the business, we're also doing HR, job descriptions, strategic plans, maybe massaging some content. We're doing a lot of different things, and AI just helps us do them faster. Now, the reason we can do that is we have process like you would not believe. I have a 4-inch binder just as a paper backup copy of all of our processes should the internet die, because it's so much, it is our intellectual property. That is what's enabled us to use AI, but we're implementing it with almost every single one of our clients. We're helping them build it into their business so that they can just become more efficient, get more done, and take care of maybe some of that repetitive stuff, because AI goes past ChatGPT. It really turns into workflow management, automations, and things like that can just make your entire team's life so easy. But yeah, we're fully into it. I think at this point in time, we are just to see the impact. Whereas 2 years ago, we might have always been 2 weeks ahead on our marketing. We're now 6 months ahead.
Yeah, that's your personal marketing for your business?
Yeah, we do all of our marketing internal. I do have some support staff with that, and they do a phenomenal job. But there's 3 people. It's me, my COO, and then our content media So we get an amazing amount done, and we produce at least an article a week, at least 6 posts a week, plus video on top of that. And then we do things like this that we fully support. So I consider what we do to be quite robust comparatively, but we could not keep up with it for utilizing technology to help us get there.
Amen, Leslie. Awesome. All right. What is your final message for everybody today? If they could only take one thing away from what we've been talking about, what's that going to be?
I'll go back to stop putting off profits. Most people treat profits as a reward instead of an intention. If you're listening to today's podcast, you need to prioritize your profits, because it is the thing that gives you fuel and enables you to do the next big thing. At the end of the day, get your foundations right. They're really not that hard, but you might need a little help. Like we've talked about, just understanding how to put them all into alignment, and then start getting going, because there are people that need your good work out there.
I love it. Leslie, what a great conversation. I love how much we align on all this. I love the metaphors, everything that you shared. Where can people go to learn more about your work?
Phenomenal. We have a special page just set up for anybody listening to us. So it's going to be at yourbizrules.com/Lindsey. There, we've got a free gift for you. We've got how you can connect to our books if you're interested in those. And then as well, if you're looking for some support, need that fractional C-suite, then we'd love to chat with you. You can find that there.
Awesome. Leslie, thank you so much for being a guest in the show. There you have it, folks. Another awesome episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. I loved this interview with Leslie because it always comes back to the basics. It always comes back to having a long-term strategy and not just hoping and praying that the next marketing tactic that you employ will actually work. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode. As a reminder, if you're ready to cut the fluff and simplify your social media and build a system that drives your actual business and not just likes, let's talk. Book a social media strategy session with me by heading to lindseya.com/apply. As always, if you enjoyed this episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show, please leave us a review. Hit that follow button. That's how we can continue to bring this straightforward information to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. Cheers to you and your success.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share how you're leveling up your business. Want more? Connect with Lindsey Anderson and get the tools you need to crush your goals at lindseya.com. Until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, and turn those business dreams into reality.
Thank you for tuning in. If you got value from this episode, share it with a friend and hit subscribe. And if you're ready to stop posting and praying and actually generate revenue, let's talk. Book your free strategy session by going to lindseya.com/apply.